The SEC driving crypto out of the USA. What I'm about to show you, you need to pay attention to the whole video. Problem, reaction, comment down below. What is next? Buckle up. This could be the greatest opportunity for you in human history, but most are going to miss it.
I'm gonna give in now. I'm just gonna live this now. I'm gonna beam and I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in their beam and I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the whip. Cause I am just up on the journey. You just know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors, rise. Grand rising. Good evening, warriors all over the world. In today's video, we're going to break down. It's going to be a longer video. We're going to narrate the Senate financial hearing with Gary Gensler. What I'm here to tell you is this is the pot boiling, the steam is coming, and the freight train is here. If you understand macroeconomics, stay out of the micro. Remember, JP Morgan said, billionaires use astrology, millionaires use charts. First they resist it, then they sue it, then they regulate it, then they join it. Now we're having the clash inside of our own country. You're about to see the biggest transition in human history. Most are calling it a depression. I'm starting to call it a transition. So we're going to break down these videos here. At the end of this video, it's very critical. If this is confusing to you or you need support, everybody's telling you how to take action. I teach over 6,000 people since 2020 how to rewire the foundation. You can take action all day, but if you don't rewire the foundation, you will never change the generation. So at the end of this video, I'll show you how I've helped over 6,000 people rewire their subconscious mind and build a wealth paradigm. All right, so we're going to narrate these videos. This was the Oversight and Securities and Exchange Commission. They're coming in on Gary Gensler. Congress now is turning against him and wants him out of the SEC, as we have a Ripple versus SEC case looming. My narrative around this is it seems that Gary Gensler, Elizabeth Warren, this current presidential regime is working to hand the power away from America. There is a regime change happening within the quantum field. Again, no need to panic. I'm not against anybody. The dollar's not going to come collapsing down. It's too powerful. Our gross domestic product is massive, but it would be foolish not to pay attention. It'd be foolish not to take advantage of this transition. It'd be foolish to sit back and let someone else manage your retirement when these fools are driving us right off a bus. So let's dive into this.
Committee will come to order. Without objection, the chair is authorized to declare a recess of the committee at any time. This hearing is entitled Oversight of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Without objection, all members will have 5 legislative days within which to submit extraneous materials to the chair for inclusion in the record. And I'll now recognize myself for 4 minutes for the purposes of an opening statement. Chair Gensler, we welcome you before the committee. As you can see, we're under new management and a new Congress, so please get comfortable. We expect
so that's key. The whole Congress has flipped now, and they're flipping on Gary Gensler.
To get through a lot today. So let's get started with digital assets. Under your leadership, the Securities and Exchange Commission has brought nearly 50 separate enforcement actions against digital asset firms. And now your agency is requesting an additional $78 million to expand your enforcement agenda. At the same time, you've refused to provide clarity on whether digital assets offered as part of an investment contract are subject to securities laws. And more importantly, how these firms should comply with those laws. You're punishing digital asset firms for allegedly not adhering to the law when they don't know it will apply to them. It's nonsensical. The administration said it, the Fed has said it, and I'll say it again. Congress must provide clear rules of the road for the digital asset ecosystem because the regulators cannot agree. Regulation by enforcement is not sufficient nor sustainable. Your approach is driving innovation overseas and endangering American competitiveness. The ranking member and I have worked for more than a year on this issue, and we'll continue to work this Congress. But let me be clear, our goal is to make law. We expect you to play a constructive role in that process. Now, next up, we'll discuss your overly aggressive and very expensive rulemaking agenda. In the past 2 years, the Commission has proposed 53 new rules at a breakneck pace. That's twice as many rules as your predecessor, Mary Jo White and Jay Clayton, in the same amount of time. This raises serious concerns that the rulemaking process is being rushed, undermining the quality of our securities laws, and risking negative unintended consequences. These concerns have been echoed by senior personnel at your own agency, and they are similar concerns raised while you were at the CFTC.
So basically, his own staff is turning against him. At the CFTC, they did it. At the SEC, we know Hester Pierce has some very opposition to his rulemaking, the way he runs the SEC. Hester Pierce is in the SEC. We call her Crypto Mom.
Time and time again, you've cut the public out of the rulemaking process with unreasonably short comment periods, even for major rules like your disastrous climate disclosure proposal and equity market structure overhaul. You failed to justify these significant rules with thorough evidence, careful studies, and even cost-benefit analysis. I look forward to hearing why the Commission is rushing to make such dramatic changes in our public markets based on paltry economic analysis and limited public input. Finally, it appears you've been so busy weaponizing the Securities Exchange Commission to push your agenda that you've forgotten a key pillar of the Commission's statutory mission, capital formation. Unlike you, this committee is working to strengthen public markets, help small businesses and entrepreneurs, and increase market access for all investors to ensure the long-term growth and prosperity of this country. I'll close with this. Chair Gensler, your responses to congressional inquiries have been unacceptable. You have a constitutional duty to conduct your business in your agency, but we too have a constitutional duty to conduct oversight of your agency. Under our jurisdiction, we intend to do that, and we will continue to do so aggressively. But it is your duty to respond and comply with congressional inquiries. If you continue to thwart this institution by ignoring our requests and providing incomplete responses, we will be left with no choice but to pursue all avenues to compel the information or documents we need and the American people need and deserve to see themselves. So with that, I yield back.
Okay, so basically the Congress is turning against him now. Okay, so we're going to continue on and I'll narrate each of these clips. So it's going to be a longer video. Hang in there.
The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Sessions, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Mr. Gimsler, you started your conversation with this committee with "my views are my own."
Yes,
Why did you say that?
because it's part of our law that I always say that my views are my own. They don't represent the staff or my fellow commissioners.
So we're paying this guy as taxpayers to run the SEC, but he says my views are my own. He's there representing the SEC, but he says my views are my own.
Do they represent the agency?
I'm here as the chair of the agency, but because I'm a member of a 5-member commission, the commission speaks as that commission. And so that's standard language that we include in each of our speeches and our testimonies.
So you don't represent the agency. You cannot speak on behalf of the agency. Why are you here?
As chair of the agency to express the views as the chair of the agency.
Then why didn't you say I express the views as chairman as opposed to my own? I don't understand that. Those are personal. When you say my own, that's personal. Now you're contradicting that and saying as chairman.
Again, because it's written into our.
I think you ought to reevaluate that because I think that's a complete cop-out. I think that's a cop-out that I think we hear, and that's why this committee is going to express its opinion to you today. Mr. Chairman, I'd ask you.
Okay, so they're calling him out on the table, saying you're a cop-out. Coinbase CEO won't rule out relocating company away from U.S. We know Ripple wants to move out of the U.S., but we're going to continue on. Okay, so this gentleman, dude, I'm big on body movements, behaviors. I mean, watch his body movement and behaviors through this, but he gets torn up in this next one here.
Gentleman, time's expired. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Davidson, for 5 minutes.
Chairman Gensler, in advance of today's hearing, did you coordinate acceptable responses with Senator Elizabeth Warren?
No, I'm speaking on my own behalf.
Did you coordinate with Democratic staff? And I ask because it happened before, and I want to be clear whether you operate of your own accord or whether there's some sort of coordinated approach to the damage that you're inflicting on America's capital markets.
I'm here as sitting in my role as chair of the agency, but I speak and I get, remarkable support by SEC staff.
All right, well, I have a few quick questions where a yes or no answer will suffice. Chairman Gensler, part of the SEC's mission is to protect investors. Does the SEC review pre-IPO documents?
This is powerful. Just look at him. I mean, he doesn't even know what to say. So these are supposed to be yes and no answers. And he first asked him, did you and Elizabeth Warren coordinate before this? So what he's pointing out is saying is there is a coordinated effort to hand power away from America and destroy the capital markets.
I think you said pre-IPO documents. You're supposed to, if you're going to take a company public,
Yeah.
The staff of the SEC does review those to see that they're in compliance.
Correct. Is
with the law.
Coinbase a publicly traded company?
I'm sorry?
Is Coinbase publicly traded?
Yes.
All right, so the SEC allowed pension funds and retail investors to invest in a company, Coinbase, that you apparently, from prior remarks, believe was engaging in illegal activity. All of their activities were laid out in their public filings in the S1 prior to the IPO. You did say that you believe Coinbase is selling unregistered securities, correct?
Again, I'm not going to speak to anyone.
No, but you said that they're selling unregistered securities. This is your public comments.
So basically, they allowed Coinbase to pre-IPO and IPO on the stock market. And then he sends a Wells notice saying that they're selling unregistered securities.
I think, with all respect, I look forward to you finding that because I'm trying to be very careful. I'm not speaking
We'll help
about
refresh
any
your
one
memory.
company.
In the Kim Kardashian settlement, the SEC stated that Ethereum Max is a security. She reached a settlement for promoting an unregistered security. The unregistered security is Ethereum Max. Have you charged the issuers of Ethereum Max for offering an unregistered security?
We reached a settlement with a celebrity, Miss Kardashian.
Yeah, but not, she just promoted it. She doesn't operate Ethereum Max. Have you said that
So he went after the promoter, but not the person that offered Ethereum Max or created Ethereum Max.
Ethereum Max is an unregistered security to the people that offer it?
We did in that settlement, yes, sir.
Okay, it's still trading. What about Ethereum? Is Ethereum now a security?
This is powerful. He's like, is Ethereum now a security? Watch. He evades all these questions, but he wants everybody to come in and be open and transparent with him and come under the laws, but he ignores them, but he can't answer one damn question.
We had this.
I heard your
discussion.
exchange. They've been in place since 2015. You say in your statements that there's clarity in the market and the rules are clear. Just come on in. You can't even answer the question. Do you say XRP is a security?
Well, we're in court and active discussions and litigation on that.
You're
matter.
in litigation because you do say it's a security. As you know,
He can't even answer that. XRP and the Ripple case against the SEC is because they say it's a security, but he won't even answer that it's a security. And they're the one that's suing him around a security. He won't answer any questions.
let's move on a little bit. As you know, qualified custodian banks would effectively be unable to provide crypto asset related custody as a result of punitive capital impact under accounting provisions in Staff Accounting Bulletin 121. You agree that the bulletin should be amended?
I think that the staff addressed an accounting issue and appropriately saw that crypto assets held in custody today are not segregated or not bankruptcy remote in bankruptcy and should be appropriately put on public company financials.
I wish I had time to go into the ESG rule and everything else, but Chairman Gensler, your record of failures to protect investors and abuses of power make it clear that we need to restructure the Securities and Exchange Commission. The failures are many, but let me cite some of the abuses. You average more than 2 rules proposals a month. You provide inappropriately short comment periods. You have unworkable and unlawful ESG disclosure mandates on the market. You have essentially a Hotel California rule for crypto where you can check in anytime you like, but you can never leave. You have endless discovery with no resolution and no clarity for the captives in the market. You have unworkable proposals for overhauling equity market structure, a de facto ban on crypto through proposed custody rule. You have high staff turnover, unhappy people leaving your office, and unhappy companies and capital leaving our country. To correct a long series of abuses, I'm introducing legislation that removes the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission and replaces the role with an executive director that reports to the board where all authority would reside. Former chairs of the SEC will be ineligible under my proposed bill. And this isn't just my take. It resonates across the political spectrum. The American people want democratic access to capital, retail investor participation. You can't just exclude retail investors from markets and claim it's for their own good. Our markets need to function and flourish, and I yield back.
All right. So they are working to remove him from the SEC. Okay, we're going to watch this one last video, and then I'll share with you what I think is going to happen.
For 5 minutes.
Thank you. Chair Gensler, I have a lot of questions in a limited amount of time. So if you could keep your answers to either a yes or a no, that will allow us to get through as many as possible, sir. From your perspective, is it more difficult now for the digital asset industry to access financial products and services in the United States than it was, say, 2 years ago?
Sir, I'm not running one of those businesses. If they came into compliance, I think that would
Reclaiming
be
my time. The answer, sir, is yes. Do you think you and the SEC have had a role to play in that?
I think we have a role to protect the American investor and the capital markets and the
Reclaiming my time, sir. You have played an obvious role in that. During your tenure at the SEC, how many rules has the SEC finalized that actually accommodate the existing regulatory framework and are specifically to the digital asset industry so the crypto market can come into compliance?
It's their rule books that are on the books for years, so we have not finalized any new rule specifically with regard to crypto. We've proposed some things in best execution. We've also...
Sir, reclaiming my time, the answer is 0. And how many enforcement actions has the SEC levied against digital asset companies during your tenure, sir?
I think it's probably 40 or 50.
The answer, sir, is about 55. My understanding is that the biggest crypto failure in history is probably FTX at $9 billion. Were you the chairman of the SEC when FTX collapsed?
Yes.
And how many times did you meet with FTX prior to their collapse?
I think my public record shows 2.
You met it with FTX at least twice. And arguably, the second biggest crypto failure in history was Terra Luna. Who was the chairman of the SEC when Terra Luna collapsed, sir?
We had brought...
You were, sir. Reclaiming my time, you were. There are 5 members on the commission. Do you believe your speeches and interviews are to serve as the official position of the SEC?
I can only speak for myself when I'm speaking.
Again, sir, in a statement on the SEC website, you are quoted saying the Kraken staking as a service enforcement action should make clear to the marketplace that staking as a service providers must register. But again, you haven't provided any rules for how that can be done. I must remind you, your public statements are not regulations. It's not responsible to expect the American people to assume your statements are a substitute for rules. Do you agree with this statement regarding the digital asset industry?
Okay, pay attention to this. Gary's lying out of his teeth. He says, do you agree with this statement? Listen to this.
SEC needs additional congressional authorities to prevent transactions, products, and platforms from falling between the regulatory cracks.
I think that it's a largely non-compliant field. And we
Sir,
could use
again,
additional
I asked you to
resources.
comply with my questions, and I'm asking you if you agree with that quote. And I'm going to tell you, I'm quoting you from an August 3rd, 2021 article where you, and I believe you told Congressman Hill earlier that you need congressional authority to regulate stablecoins, and stablecoins happen to be a significant percentage of the crypto market. So the question is, when were you telling the truth? To Mr. Hill or to me? You've got to start answering these questions in a more transparent manner, sir. Does it concern you, by the way, that your approach to the digital asset industry is actually driving this industry out of the United States?
We're trying to drive it to compliance, and if they're not complying with the laws, then they shouldn't be offering their products.
Reclaiming my
to
time.
investors.
Madam Chair, I would like to enter into the record this Wall Street Journal article from April 14th, 2023, detailing China's ploy to open its banking system to crypto firms in an effort to seize an opportunity created by our hostile regulatory environment, which, Mr. Chair, you're a big part of.
Without
Look,
objection.
Chair Gensler, FTX was domiciled abroad and so is Binance, yet American consumers still had access to both. You can't really think that pushing this industry abroad is going to protect American consumers when it hasn't several times in the past on your watch. You say the crypto market is rife with non-compliance. However, existing SEC rules make no sense for blockchain-based companies, and following them would actually kill these businesses. Your regulatory style lacks flexibility and nuance, and as a result, you've been an incompetent cop on the beat, doing nothing to protect everyday Americans and pushing American firms into the hands of the CCP. Your intention to work against SEC mission and put American investors in harm's way has been made very apparent, sir. It's been a year and a half since you've appeared before this committee. You need to answer to Congress about the issues that you've had with the SEC staff union, the work environment you've cultivated at the SEC that's led to hemorrhaging of senior staff, the intellectual inconsistency of your regulatory treatment towards Bitcoin spot ETFs, and your politicization of capital formation opportunities
time
through your
has
treatment of
expired.
certain SPACs. And that's just to name a few.
Man, this is it, guys. This is what we've been training for. This is the moment in time. We know SEC, Gary Gensler, he said it. He met with the FTX twice, guys. Twice. Okay. Then we go into, it goes into climate change. I was going to go into that, but the video is at 23 minutes now. So time to take a deep breath. The crazier it becomes, the more intensity that picks up, the bigger the boom afterwards, guys. There's going to be a big boom. Okay, there's a boom and bust cycle that we went through. We're going through a massive credit crisis right now. There's a transition from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, industrial to technical. The old archaic banking system is dying off. It's a slow, methodical transition. Everybody keeps saying there's a switch. There's a switch. The switch is being hit every day. It's a slow. Cash isn't just going to disappear. It takes a while. Rosie Rios told us she needed a shock to the system. She was told to reduce coin and cash usage. It takes shocks to the system. When GDP growth goes up, you can't reduce coin and cash because it goes up with it. Well, GDP growth is going down now. Interest rates are going up. The middle class is getting wiped out. Leverage towards technology, moving down to the working poor. So we're going to stop the GDP growth, slow the coin and cash usage. When people need money, they're going to put them on a digital dollar so they can get their stimulus check really quickly on FedNow services. Eventually, we'll move into a central bank digital currency. And within 10 years, you guys will all be used to it, just like every other system and process that we resist and we go against. But there's a group of people that are like, okay, wait a minute. Okay, there is no invisible enemy. Nobody's coming after you. These are changes in human behavior. I don't agree with the central bank digital currency. I'm not going to stop it. I'm not going to stop a central bank digital currency. It's not going to happen. But what I am going to do is invest in innovative technologies, use them for good, and shift the family's timeline to generational wealth. I'm done living the paradigm of poverty. I'm done living the paradigm of relying on somebody else, what I can do with my freedom. No, I'm going to shift my family's timeline. I'm drawing a line in the sand, and we've been doing it for the last 4 years since 2020. We're not against anybody. There's no need to protest. There is no invisible enemy. God is my president and CEO. I follow the life of Jesus as much as possible, and I love every single human being unconditionally without expectations. So we've helped over 6,000 warriors now worldwide rewire their brain. Everybody's telling you how to take action. We teach you how to rewire the foundation through discipline, through consistency. There is no get rich quick, guys. It doesn't work that way. If you make $100,000 and you start making $1 million from being a laptop millionaire, You haven't changed your behaviors. You'll now have $1 million in bills. Who you become in the process of becoming a millionaire is the most important part. So after this video I'm about to play, in the description of this video, you can join our Warrior Academy 7 days for free in 2023. We expect to see you on the inside. Do not waste this opportunity. Warriors, get your shit together. Let's go.
System is designed to keep you trapped. 2017, I walked out of a high-paid vice president job because I was absolutely miserable. Working 16 to 19 hours a day because that's what the system taught me to do. And what I discovered through countless hours of meditation, research, reading books, understanding how the millionaires and billionaires operate, the system is designed to keep you trapped. Today, I own multiple companies. I travel all over the world. I'm financially free, and that's exactly why I created this community of like-minded warriors coming together called the 3T Warrior Academy. Now, I don't say this to brag. I'm sharing this with you to show you what's possible for you. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to take your life to another level, we believe the Warrior Academy has something for everybody. Processes that take you step by step through discipline, consistent activities, and that's exactly what you're going to get. Our 120-day challenge, all you have to do is open up the app and take it day by day. We're going to take you through the discipline, consistent activities to take your life to the next level. Within 1 week, you're going to feel a difference. Within a month, people are going to notice a change in you. That's how powerful this 120-day challenge is. So if you're truly ready to break free from the old paradigm into a new paradigm of discipline, consistency, great relationship with your family, financial freedom, and learning the pillars of wealth that will change your life and generational wealth to come, I'm going to invite you to do our program for 7 days for free. The 120-day challenge has changed over 5,000 warriors' lives worldwide, and we hope to be yours next.
Warriors, get your together. Let's go.